Thank you. So just for fun, I put together a little rap for you, and it's just 1 minute, so I wanted to let you know that so you don't freak out, think I'm gonna be up here rapping at you for 10. So, ready for this? Here we go. A fancy German house is what they desired to replace an energy hog that was old and tired. We checked out the site, and here's what we found. It was existing non-conforming, but facing south. If you could build something legal, it'd be about as big as a treehouse. Well, we looked in the code, which is somewhat thick, and we found something in there which is pretty slick. That old leave one wall trick. So the planning department said, that sounds pretty good, but the building department said, you can do that, y'all, but there's something you should know about that one wall. That loophole you found is somewhat old, and you've got to replace that wall and bring it up to current seismic code. What? So, next thing I told him brought my clients some joy. I looked at him straight and I said, sounds like a new house to me, boys. And that's when we embarked on our journey in earnest. Thank you. Thanks. Daughter Galaxy helped me with the lyrics there. So that's when we embarked on our journey in earnest to build this beautiful state-of-the-art German house. So this house is in Issaquah. I'm the architect on it, and it was fabricated in Germany, shipped over here. And yes, indeed, we did try to talk them into an American-made heavy timber and glass building. They were having nothing to do with that, feeling that the German technology is light years ahead of ours, and maybe it is. Maybe it's 30 years ahead. But my clients, Harris and Wolfgang, delightful to work with, and our journey wound up being an 8-year journey. So here's where we put it, and this is the site plan that we submitted for the shoreline exemption permit because it really was existing non-conforming. The rectangle is the house, not showing the eaves, which are about 5 feet. The shape beyond that, which is got a rotated grid, is the existing house, so we reduced the footprint and the non-conformity to the north. And the circle is my approximation of what we would do if we could build that treehouse with the current legal setback codes from the top of the bank. So there is going to be a beautiful rain garden, and also according to Harris, the red area, that's the existing decks, is the heart and soul of the project. So we fought long and hard to keep those, and we succeeded, and the planning department really gave us a run for our money on that. And that you could see, kind of see, but the tip of that triangle is right up against the fence line and very close to the top of the bank. The house is surrounded by creeks on 2 sides, so it was quite a project to pull that part off. So this is the foundation, and I like to say that we being the American team, we made this fancy cake platter, and then the Germans brought in the fancy cake. And this cake platter is got 9 auger cast piles that are 20-inch diameter, and I think they're something like 30 feet deep. And then it's got 2-foot by 2-foot grade beams at the perimeter, and then it's got 8-inch hollow core precast planks that are the floor system, and then it's got a topping slab on top of it. So you could literally put a fire station on top of this foundation, and it's built that way because it has to support a potential flood and earthquake event simultaneously. So you seldom have to design for that particular condition. And the Germans, they wanted us to have this thing precise within a millimeter. You know, we tend to work with 1/4 inches and things like that, and maybe 1/4 inches over a number of feet. Well, we did have it pretty dead on at to the millimeter. I think it was about a total of a 3/8 inch out of square altogether. So pretty bulletproof. So I cannot only not remember, but I can't tell you how many iterations of this floor plan there were. We worked on this for a long time. We dialed it in as close as we could get it. And then in 2008, we went to Germany with a plan similar to this. And I wish I could show you a photograph of myself across the table from the Huff team's German architect who spoke no English. And I sprechen Sie not a German. And, but we had a couple of translators, the salesman, and both my clients speak both languages fluently. And then the old adage of a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, you know, we got busy with sketch paper and pens and pencils, and I walked away, and Harris and Wolfgang walked away feeling really good about the plan that we had crafted with their team. And it was a pretty amazing experience all the way around. And then sometime after that, we got a plan back by email that somehow something got a little bit lost in the translation there, according to us anyway. So we worked back and forth a couple of more times by email and dialed in the plan to perfection. I think the Huff team added some absolutely beautiful elements, and in particular the kitchen storage and the master bathroom just got crafted, and the proportions of this house are just dead on, I think, inside and out. And one other thing I want to say about the plan is I would not let them go at the factory until we had a permit. So we agreed on the plan, we got a permit, and then they hit the go button at the factory. A week and a half later, they had a house ready to put in containers, got shipped in 9 containers, and shipped over here. Had to go through the Panama Canal because it couldn't go over the mountains or the gas in the glass would have popped. So I really, really had to hold them at bay until we had the permit, just in case they made some kind of radical change. So this is showing my favorite panel that slid into place. These guys build just like clockwork, and this panel slid in like magic, and it's the dividing wall between the 1-level and 2-level parts of the house. And the arrow there is not just for you, showing you the cross-laminated timbers, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, but it's also for me to block out one of the one of the German workers who was a little bit heavy on the plumber's crack. So a little over the top for me. So I know you guys want to know about the energy performance, and I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to let you look at this slide for a couple minutes while I talk about some of the house features. And I'm not going to be able to mention all of them, but geothermal heat, in-floor hydronic radiant heat. The geothermal is also supplying the domestic hot water. It's got an energy recovery ventilation system. It's got thick walls. The walls and ceiling and floor are about 1 foot thick, super insulated, super triple pane glass, just really tight envelope. And so this is my best crack at a cross-section of the wall, and that there's some cross-laminated timber in there, taking up about 3 inches. The Germans are only claiming R34, but then there's 3 inches of cross-laminated timber, there's a bunch of fiber-reinforced stuff, and then there's plaster on either side. So I think the performance is substantially better than that. We could put some science to it and figure out that. I haven't done that yet, but this is my best crack at the sketch based on what they brought to the site and the drawings we put together for the permit. The Germans were very closed-handed with their cards as far as the details. They would literally not send me a detail. So I put this together and I ran it by the US rep for the Huff House, a guy named Alexander Colby, without whom I don't think we could have successfully completed this project. And he assured me I was pretty close on track to how that was built. And here's the same science to put together a section through the roof. And again, they're only claiming R32. I have a pretty strong suspicion it's better than that. It's a purlin system, but it's also panelized, so there's more purlins than you would need in a stick-built system. So that's a radiator effect, but there's a bunch of rock wool, and then there's a membrane, and then there's 2 directions of sleepers, and then concrete tiles on top of that, and inside there's some fiber-reinforced stuff. And eventually the north side's going to have a green roof, and it's over 1 foot thick, so it's performing pretty well. It's not fantastic. Is it passive house? I don't know. It's not stellar, but it's really, really good. So here's a little video. This is actually the trailer for a movie that's on my website. If you go to sagedesignsnw.biz, it's 7.5 minutes, and it's got a cool soundtrack, and I encourage you to check it out. And this was 8 days of building. Pictures anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes apart. And I got to say thanks to Patrick Stroll for helping me put together the video. I think I still have a minute. So that's the interior. Thank you very much, by the way. Everything you're looking at there was imported from Germany except the countertops And again, back to the American team, was put together by general contractor Tom Schmo. That's Joe's brother, in case you're wondering. And he put together an amazing team of craftsmen. They did everything from the tile, the plaster, the finishes, and everything in between. You know, even the doorknobs are from Germany, and they just did a fantastic job. I have to say, I fancy myself an excellent photographer, but I did hire this out to a friend and colleague who just knows how to dial in the light just right. And that's another shot by Michael Lane, and that's actually my favorite shot of the building. It changes the scale of it completely, but I love it from this angle. I can't show you the beautiful green rain garden yet because it's still being installed, but the bottom line is that the clients, Harris and Wolfgang, love this house. It's easy to maintain, it's easy to clean. They've probably had 20 dinner parties since they moved in. They had it open for the Green Home Tour in May. They just have been totally gracious, fabulous clients. And thanks very much for the time and for the Guild for putting this together and inviting me to be a part of it.